Hey guys, it's Jeremy here on Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. Whatever today, guys, is the next episode of my top 10 bands of each country. Thank you to everyone who casted a vote on my poll I posted in the community tab. I wasn't by surprised that the next country you guys wanted me to do was Norway. Norway is obviously the birthplace of everything black metal, and it's just a massive thing over there. And to be honest, guys, black metal is one of my least favorite subgenres of metal. Might be blasphemy, but it's just one I never really gravitated towards. The overall sound generally didn't appeal to me, especially the newer black metal I'm not really into. I like some of the older kind of first and second wave black metal bands, so a lot of those will be on my list. And there is some other bands from Norway I'm really into that have some blackened elements, but some other things like thrash or whatever as well. Some of the bands you might not have heard of. Obviously, there's going to be a handful of ones here that are pretty predictable and most people would have on their list. So let's jump right in, guys. At number 10, I have Darkthrone. A lot of people might be surprised I have them this low, but again, Norwegian black metal band. Their early material is very straight up black metal, but I really dig their newer material from this band, to be honest. They had like a crust punk album that was really kind of cool. And then their later albums have they have like black metal at the core, but they put a lot more heavy metal sections in it and also doom metal. So when they kind of infused, traditional metal and doom metal into their sound, I really kind of dug that sound a lot more, and I really got into the band a little bit more. Because I got into Darkthrone a little bit later because of their newer material that I liked, that's why they're a little bit lower on my list. Number 9, I went with Deathhammer. Really cool band. They're a blackened thrash/speed metal band formed in 2005. They only have 5 albums in total. All pretty solid stuff. Really cool blackened thrash. They have more of a thrash metal sound with just blackened vocals. I really dig the sound of these guys. Super aggressive. Blast beats, aggressive guitar work, great solos. Really cool band. If I'm not familiar with these guys, definitely check them out. They're pretty popular, but definitely check them out if you're not familiar with them. They're on Hell's Headbangers Records as well. Number 8 might be a band a lot of you might not be familiar with. They're called Wobbler. They're a progressive rock band, not really metal, but more on the rock side. I was introduced to these guys through watching Sea of Tranquility. Pete over there was a big fan. I like progressive rock, so I wanted to check it out, and I dug it right away. The latest album, Dwellers of the Deep from 2020 was a killer album. I went back and checked out their older stuff. They have 5 albums in total, starting back in 2005. All pretty solid stuff. I prefer the last couple albums overall the best. But just some really good progressive rock, progressive hard rock, great Hammond organ, mellotron, great guitar riffs, great vocals, great arrangements, just a really good hard rock and prog stuff. If you're not familiar with these guys and you like that 70s kind of prog rock sound, definitely check these guys out. At number 7, I went with Condor. Really cool band. Unfortunately, only had 2 albums, and they're currently split up. They had the latest album in 2017, Unstoppable Power is probably my favorite from the band. Really cool artwork on this one as well. Really killer stuff, really good thrashy album with blackened vocals. They're on High Roller Records. And I wish they would put out more material. I wish they didn't split up. And I still have to get that album, Unstoppable Power, on CD. It just costs a lot of money because it's like they need to reprint it again, it's not made anymore. So it's just very expensive to find a good copy. Next one here I went with was number 6, Black Viper. Probably not a well popularly known band as well, but they're again a speed/heavy metal, thrash metal kind of band. They're a one and done band. They only had 1 album. They're still active, but they had the 1 album called Hellions of Fire. Again, really cool artwork. Great album. Really thrashy, kind of a blend of thrash and like more speed metal, but bordering on thrash intensity. Really good album. Another one I want to pick up on physical copy, but it's a lot harder to get because it's limited distribution over here. So it's just very difficult to find. Really cool band though. Check them out if you're not familiar with them. And then a lot of the ones in my top 5 were pretty predictable, except for my number One actually might really surprise a lot of people. But number 5, I have Emperor. Emperor was formed in '91. Really cool band. It's one of the bands that are pretty much black metal, but for some reason their sound just really kind of gravitated towards me more. I just kind of had a different vibe to it for some reason. It wasn't the typical kind of wall of sound black metal that I don't like. But in the night side of Eclipse was probably my favorite album by them, the debut. Really good album. It just reminds me of being like out in a cold winter kind of feeling, and it's like very lot of symphonic elements. Really cool album. That's probably definitely my favorite, and one of the few black metal bands I kind of really dug. Number 4, I went with Immortal. Of course, with Abbott was the frontman and guitarist, the founding member. Really cool band. My favorite album from them is probably At the Heart of Winter. Heart of Winter is really good. Battles in the North, Pure Holocaust. Like all their early albums are really, really good. Probably In the Heart of Winter is probably my favorite. Just some really good straight black metal. Again, not normally what I'm into, but for some reason, Immortal sound really kind of gravitated with me. I like a bass vocal delivery. I like his solo albums as well, really good stuff. And I had to make my list near the top. Number 3, couldn't have a Norway list without having the mighty Mayhem. Kind of where it all started with black metal. Very intense albums. Their debut album is probably my favorite still overall. It's always been kind of the best. But their last few albums have been really, really solid. Like I said, I'm not normally into the newer black metal sound, but they have a cool sound. They kind of stuck with their original sound, and I kind of dig most of their albums. I listen to it online more. I only have I think 2 of them on CD. But really cool band. It's kind of where it all started. You have to kind of pay your respects to the godfather of the scene, and definitely had to make my list. Number 2 was a band that instantly came to my mind when it came to Norway, Enslaved. Again, Viking theme, progressive black metal band. Their early material was definitely straight, more Viking black metal. Still pretty good, but I like the early albums, but I really like the newer stuff. I mean, Heimdall, Utgard, In Times. Their last 5 albums have been top tier material. They've been on such a hot streak in the last 10 to 15 years, just putting out banger after banger. And one of the elite extreme metal bands out at the moment, in my opinion. They just keep releasing quality material. They're just killing it. And number 1, guys, I went with Toxic Death. A kind of a really underground black thrash metal band, also in High Roller Records. Only 2 releases. The one, Speed Metal Hell from 2014, is probably my favorite album by them. Just some really good thrashy. It's more like thrash metal band with just blackened vocals. Really dig this album a lot. Again, it's one I wanted on hard copy, but it's very difficult to find. And their latest album was pretty good as well. Not quite as good as the debut, but still really solid. Only the 2 albums, like I said. So let me know down below, guys, what bands you would pick from Norway. I'm sure there's a bunch I didn't mention that a lot of you probably enjoy. Like I said, I'm not really into black metal, so I kind of picked just the 5 or 6 bands that are kind of the more obvious, well-known bands that most people are into. And then some handful of underground stuff that I really dig from that country. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know down below what country I should tackle next. Maybe I'll do another poll in a week or so to see which one you guys think I should do. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep it metal.